First of all, thanks for being here. Another successful showdown week in Abu Dhabi. First off, I'd like to thank our partners in the UAE, Department of Culture and Tourism. Really felt special this week with all the activations, the number of different events going on. So thanks for all your support. A couple things to note. Fight of the night, Shara and Marc-Andre Barriault. And the performances go to Stephen Wynn and Muslim Salikov.
David, over here.
Yes, sir.
About a year ago, I asked you about Reinier. At that point, you were not up to the new fighters, and you said if Dana was here, you could answer it. We're now about 9 months further. What do you think of Reinier's performance tonight?
It was pretty good. I mean, we talked to a bunch of people after who, people had it going both ways.
Yeah.
I think both guys got a little tired midway through, but it was really impressive to see how dynamic his game is. He had a lot that he brought to the table. Bunch of kicks. I mean, the weird situation, I'm not sure if I ever saw that in the first round, where he's holding Rob's wrist and he's got the back of his arm. But listen, he's ascended really quickly with some really nice performances. Meerschaert, Holland, and then Bo Nickel. So putting together a pretty good roster, a pretty good body of work for the rise up the ranks.
Would you say he's the proof of someone who, if you want to fight the UFC, offers you a lot?
Sorry, say that again?
Would you say he's the proof or the walking proof of someone who, if you want to fight, the UFC is a world that's open to use?
Yeah, I guess so. To be honest, I'm not really following the question. I think, are you asking if, Yeah,
he fought 4 times in 9 months.
Yeah.
So he wants to keep fighting.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's like the Hamzat situation. Yeah, absolutely. And, Dana talks about it every time he does a press conference. He loves the guys that want to stay active, want to keep fighting, want to kind of keep showing what they've got. And so I think for the matchmakers, it's a pretty good situation to have.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hey, Dave, just over here.
Hello.
One question from my side. What did you think of the fight between Muhammad Yahya and Stephen Wynn being allowed to go for as long as it did with that number of knockdowns?
Yeah, it's interesting. We talked to Herzog after, and he was commenting that there was sort of moments in the fight where Yahya looked like he was right back in it, right? So he got knocked down quickly, and I think there were 5 maybe in the first round and maybe 2 more in the second. And then I think how rapidly his eye changed and got swollen, bulged up. What do I think? There was a solid argument for that fight. Could have been called earlier. But he provided his justification, and it seemed fine to me. The other side of it now, too, is, post-medical evaluation and going to the hospital, just all swelling. So there's no damage. No permanent, no damage that requires surgery. Obviously, there's a lot of damage in his eye.
Продолжая с боем Нгуэна и Яя, в этом бою было 8 нокдаунов, 6 нокдаунов в первом раунде. В кикбоксинге и в боксе после 3 нокдаунов бой останавливают. Будет ли что-то подобное в UFC?
I'll translate. So keeping up on this fight, in boxing and in kickboxing, there is a rule that fight will be stopped after 3 knockdowns. Do you think similar rules should be implemented in the UFC? Because tonight we had as many as we had.
No, I don't think so. The record was 5. And I don't, want to make a judgment on that. Just we've got one fight that we're commenting on. We should be looking at a wide body of discussion and evidence. And I think we've all seen some pretty incredible fights over the years that are 3 rounds, that are 5 rounds, that have, 3, 4, 5 knockdowns. And they're wildly entertaining, and doesn't necessarily mean that there's an extensive amount of damage.
На UFC в Баку, который прошел совсем недавно, и на UFC этом в Абу-Даби, в главных боях вечера выступали не ребята с СНГ, хотя вот это регионы, куда приезжают именно бойцы с СНГ. Считает ли UFC это ошибкой, и будет ли подобное продолжать дальше?
So at the previous event in Baku and here tonight, the main events were including fighters that are not particularly from the regions where the events were, and some fans were leaving arena early. Is the UFC going to reconsider main events for feeding to the local fans?
No, we're not. I think the way that Dana puts together these fight cards, he's he's striving, he's accomplishing the best fights he can possibly make at that moment in time. We also, especially when we come back to a location pretty frequently, from some of the conversations that we've had with our partners, with fans, with broadcast partners, yes, you get a lot of energy, you get a lot of local hometown support for the regional guys. But local fans want to see the global stars. And why would anyone not want to see someone like Rob Whittaker, who's had such an extensive career, held the belt? I wanted to write it down just because his body of work is so impressive. So Alaskarov, Paulo Costa, Vittori, Kelvin Gastelum, Cannonier, Till, Romero ×2, and Jacare. Why would anyone in the world not want to see Robert Whittaker? Yes, sir.
Привет. На следующем турнире в Абу-Даби запланирован бой Тома Аспинала и Сирила Гана, и соглавным боем будет бой Волкова и Алмейды. Станет ли победитель боя Волков-Алмейда следующим претендентом на пояс в тяжелом весе?
So the question is about next event in Abu Dhabi. The main event is going to be Aspinall versus Gan, and the co-main event is going to be Volkov-Almeida. Is it fair to say that a winner of Volkov-Almeida will be the next challenger?
I don't know. I can't answer that. That's up to Dana to answer.
Do you know if any one of them is going to be a backup fighter?
I don't. Sorry.
В России очень много талантливых бойцов, и они постоянно спрашивают, как подписаться в UFC, что сделать, чтобы попасть в UFC. А вот могли бы вы сформулировать сегодня 3 правила для бойца, если он хочет в UFC? Что должен сделать боец, чтобы там оказаться? Максимально общие какие-то правила.
If you talk about Russia, there are a lot of talented fighters, and everybody wants to become a UFC fighter. Can you formulate 3 rules what fighters should be and should not be doing in order to get into UFC?
I mean, man, it's not really my territory. Listen, it's probably a question for, I say this at every press conference, but it's probably a question for Dana and the matchmakers. But, I mean, what would you guys think? I mean, you obviously have to have skills in all areas, right? You obviously have to know how to work hard and dig deep and make it 3 rounds or to become a champion 5 rounds. I think there's a lot of different qualities. So I'm not sure what to say. I think it's sort of in the eye of the beholder. And you look at the champions that we've got from many different countries around the world right now, and those champions, you know, they all hold a number of similar characteristics, but they're all pretty different in their own ways. So there's no secret formula.
And one question from me. You gave a medical update on Muhammad Yahya. Do you have any information about Chara Magomedov and what happened to him?
No, I think he's still under observation. We didn't have a report by the time I was walking up here. So,
thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
Here.
Okay.
I want to ask about Ibalsan. He started with 2 great knockouts, but now he's in 2 lose streak. How do you see his future in the UFC?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I don't know.
Hi, Yusuf here. Congratulations for a great event tonight.
Thank you.
As UFC is moving to Qatar and you have events in Abu Dhabi and Riyadh, do you have any plans to have road to UFC in the Arab region where you have Arab fighters competing and the best ones to join UFC?
The short answer is yes. Not necessarily for road to UFC, but some other format. We've been in discussions for a while with our partners here at DCT, and you know, a concept. I mean, it could be Contender Series, it could be RTU. Maybe there's an Ultimate Fighter. I mean, something that's going to make sense that helps us identify and develop talent. RTU would make a lot of sense, I think. Even this season that's currently going on, it's the first season where we've added non-Asian athletes. So we had Kiwis and Aussies that competed in the first round. So opening that up to fighters from the Middle East, from the Gulf countries, I think would make a lot of sense. But no definitive plans yet.
Great. You will be impressed.
I think we would.
David, one last question from
Yes.
something I think is more based on your job at the UFC.
Thank you.
The UFC held a watch party in the Netherlands because of.
Did you see some of the videos on
a
social?
lot. They sent it to me because of the podcast, and Jarno Eddens, former UFC fighter, was also there. So
Cool.
They did a great job.
Yeah.
Is that something we can see more often in more countries? Because I think it's a great thing for fans who cannot pay to go to, for example, Abu Dhabi or anything. Is it something we can see more often?
100%. I mean, we've got 42 events a year. right? And as you guys know, over the past couple of years, we've talked about the sort of 8 off-prime events, 6 of which are generally in sort of the UK, Europe, Middle East time zone for prime time. There's a lot of great countries that we've been to in the past that we can't get to right now just by virtue of limited supply. So, the team took a fighter tour through Germany a few weeks ago, which was incredibly successful. And now we've got, I shouldn't say now we've got a viewing party. We have viewing parties in a bunch of different areas. I think this was particularly important because of tonight's win. Yeah. And seeing some of that footage online just goes to show you. I mean, we've been to Rotterdam twice. So we've been in the Netherlands twice and twice only.
Next year, the 3rd time, yeah?
Sorry?
Next year, the 3rd time.
Yeah, I hope so. We had some great events there, and there's a rich history of combat sports. So it would make a lot of sense, but we've got a few things to figure out with the U.S. media deal, and hopefully that opens up opportunities for us to have events more often in Europe.
There's no news about that yet, about the broadcast deal from the UFC?
No, not at the moment.
Thank you very much,
no problem.
And continuing on the topic of this particular region, there's going to be an event in Qatar soon. And recently Habib said that his cousin, Umar Nurmagomedov, is going to fight in the main event. Is it fair to think that he might be fighting in Qatar?
I mean, it's reasonable to think it's possible. I mean, nothing to report now. It would make a lot of sense for a bunch of different reasons, but not up to me. And, the old back to the war room, back to matchmaking on Tuesday, and I'm sure Dana and the rest of the crew will figure that out.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Guys, thanks very much for the support. Safe travels home. We'll see you soon.